Welcome to the show, everyone. It's the Crypto Lark. Today I have with me Gavin from Elastos. Gavin, welcome.
Hey, welcome. Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And Elastos is such an exciting project. For anybody who doesn't know about Elastos, though, give us the short version, the elevator pitch. What are you guys doing?
Well, it's pretty hard, the elevator.
We need a long elevator?
yeah, I need a Henry story. But anyway, let's talk this way. So Elastos, what is not Elastos? That would be easier, because a lot of people compare with Elastos to some existing blockchain projects, but Elastos is very different than a lot of them, because Elastos is a OS, that means operating system. It does have a chain, of course. Elastos have a chain, main chain, side chain, the system, but that is not. It's not all of Elastos. Elastos is a OS. If we consider a real decentralized application, the stack, dApp is on the top. Like people can use dApps, but dApps cannot run directly on the blockchain. We have to something in between, like between the blockchain, which is a kind of storage layer, and between the storage layer and the dApp. So there is something we need. It's called operating system. If we talk about like the traditional application that people easily understand. So traditional application, there is application layer, like the application running on your phone, in your browser. That is app. But there is something called server, like so you're running in the cloud. So your actually data serving from the server. The server doesn't have a storage. Usually they don't have, but the data is served from a database server. So if we compare with the traditional application versus the dApp, the dApp also has the application layer, we call the dApp, and also an OS. The OS is what we have Elastos over there in the between, and the database will be replaced by the blockchain. So blockchain will be something we store the hash over there, it's immutable and the people trust it, and also in the middle is the OS. On top is the dApp. So Elastos is combination of the blockchain, in the middle layers of OS and SDK, so the dApp can run inside it. We call it RT. RT means runtime. So that is what we call Elastos. So it's different. Some people say, oh, what's the difference between Elastos and Ethereum? Do we have a smart contract? Do we have a chain? Yes, we do. We do have everything. But the most important thing, we have something they don't have. For example, we have something we call runtime. It's just like a typical browser. Your application running inside the browser, which is we call it virtual machine, and we have everything the dApp need to communicate with outside world, and also we block something we don't want to make sure the OS is secure and reliable. The reason is, let's say if we make a DM right now without using Elastos, most people using Ethereum. Ethereum is a smart contract, right? You're gonna make your application running on web and using something called Web3.js to contact with Ethereum. The Ethereum itself is very secure. It's reliable for sure because it's so complicated. But how about your application? Is your application running in the browser secure enough? Maybe not. Because there could be some JavaScript injected into the system, and the communication between your browser to the server where you host the application, there could be routers in the middle. They can do some kind of middleman attack, and the server is server secure. Maybe not. You don't know, and also the browser itself may not be secure enough. So there are a lot of steps between you and the blockchain. The blockchain is secure, but how about your application? Maybe not. Mm-hmm. But what Elasto trying to do is, we give you a end-to-end solution, not only the blockchain, but also the communication between your application and the blockchain. Also, the running OS, we call it runtime OS, the virtual machine. And your application is running inside the virtual machine. That means if your application has some kind of malfunction activity trying to steal your data to somewhere else, it will be blocked by the OS. You know what? We actually disabled the HTTP and HTTPS. That means even the developer trying to steal something from your application, steal something from the blockchain and send to a backend server somewhere, steal your information. It cannot do that. The reason is there's no HTTP. Your everything you want to contact the outside world is blocked by the sandbox or RT. So sometimes you use different concept, but that they are the same thing. The OS, the sandbox, the virtual machine, the same thing. So it's blocked by that. And we take over all the communication, and we check all the data traffic between the ZF and the chain. And we actually make sure every package is signed by the right person, and we can send the data to the right person you want to talk to. And that person using his private key to open it, so you can see the real context. And everything in between is totally peer-to-peer. That means no server in between, no something called like a Google, Facebook, no.
No gatekeepers.
No, just a peer-to-peer. You talk to another node directly. You talk to the blockchain directly, and everything is encrypted using your private key. So everything is safe, everything is secure. So that was what Elastos is trying to do. It is different than the typical blockchain. It's much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely. And
sorry, it's too long.
No, that's great. That's great. I think the elevator's arrived. Okay, no, that's a really great explanation. I think it gives us a good kind of window on what makes Elastos a bit different. Question for you though: if Ethereum is getting killed by like crypto kitties, how do you propose to basically run a new iteration of how we communicate across the internet on a blockchain, which is Elastos, of course?
Okay, the first thing is if there will be a crypto kitty in blockchain in the future, maybe more than one, maybe crypto dogs, crypto puppy, whatever, there will be, but it cannot block the Elasto blockchain. Let me tell you why. First thing is the Elasto using the main chain and the side chain. So the main chain, which is the ELA chain, it doesn't run any smart contract on it. It's very simple, very secure. It's nothing else but basically the other set chains hash into the ELA, and also some transaction of ELA only, and no smart contract. We try to design the main chain as simple as possible, so there's no like attack surface for the hacker to attack, and there's no smart contract. So you can even you try to like break it, you cannot, because we don't have smart contract. But where the smart contract running? They are in the set chain. So for example, CryptoKitty will be one application. We actually allow the developer of CryptoKitty to create their own set chain called a crypto like Kitty chain, whatever. The Kitty chain could be our set chain. So all the smart contract is running in this set chain only. If let's say there is something like a huge transaction getting to the Kitty chain, the Kitty chain itself could be jammed, could be slow because of too many transactions, but the ELA main chain won't be affected. And other side chain, like at the same time, there may be some other transaction, other DF running in other side chain, they won't be affected. So we can still doing the transaction with our main chain without any problem. The only thing could cause problem is the Kitty chain itself. That could be, but won't affect other people. This is not like Ethereum. When Ethereum running the CryptoKitty, because there's only one chain, and if a lot of transactions related to the Kitty getting to the Ethereum, the Ethereum will get blocked, and the other transaction cannot get through because it's only one chain. But for Elastos, we have a main chain and a side chain. We cannot allow that happening.
It's kind of comical, actually, the whole CryptoKitties thing, what happened to Ethereum. Now, you guys at Elastos, you also are going to have friend chain. What's a friend chain? And how does that fit into the ecosystem here?
Well, the set chain and the friend chain and the main chain, which is the three concepts. The set chain is very close to the friend chain. The only difference between them is the set chain doesn't have their own cryptocurrency. The set chain use ELA, which is a ELA with our token as their currency. But if your set chain, you have your own a token, and you don't want to use ELA as your currency, then you still use the set chain, but we call it a friend chain. That's the only difference. Set chain, no cryptocurrency, use ELA. Friend chain, you don't use ELA, you can use your own your token. You can do your own ICO, have your own token. So because the difference between the set chain and friend chain. So if you want to transfer anything, any currency from your friend chain to the main chain or to other set chain, you have to go through an exchange to exchange your own token to ELA based on the current market rate. But if the set chain, if you transfer anything between the set chain to main chain, you don't have to because you both use ELA. That's
cool.
the only difference.
Cool. I like it. Good explanation. Now, as far as security, Elastos has decided on merged mining. So explain how that process works and why did you choose to do merged mining over, for example, proof of stake or just straight up proof of work?
Okay, actually, the merged mining is a kind of a POW. It is proof of work. And first, I need to explain why we choose POW, not something like more popular like right now, the BPOS, POS, a lot of like a Tango or something. There are a lot of things which is a new concept, kind of pretty cool. But why don't we do that? And the reason is very simple. The POW is currently the most reliable way to guarantee the chain is immutable because there are huge calculation power, hash power is running to mine Bitcoin, and there are already huge money has been invested into the mining pool. So if anybody who want to modify the Bitcoin or any POW, it's very hard. You have to have a huge amount of money. That's almost impossible right now. So that's why we consider POW is still, so far, still the most reliable way to make sure your chain will be not altered, not be changed by other people. The second thing is that we do merge mining instead of a typical traditional POW because we don't want like the other miner to invest into a standalone new equipment, the mining machine to like burn more energy to like get a new ELA because it's kind of waste of a lot of resources. We try to be green. We don't want to do that. So we do merge mining with Bitcoin. The merge mining actually, the basic concept is this. If you are a miner of a Bitcoin, you just run an additional node, a light node in your mining machine. You don't need a like additional hash power or additional calculation to mine the ELA. You're just running existing Bitcoin mining process. Let's do the hash, the same thing. You don't have any additional cost. When you're mining the Bitcoin, could it be sometime you didn't get the Bitcoin because you competed with other like mining machine, but because ELA is easier than Bitcoin, we have like a 2 minutes interval. 2 minutes. The Bitcoin is 10 minutes. So likely you get a chance to calculate the hash, like satisfy the difficulty of ELA, but not Bitcoin. In this case, you can also submit your result, broadcast to the ELA network, then to approve, you already do the hash power and then calculate that. So in this case, you can still continue doing the calculation to try to mine the Bitcoin, but whatever you already get a got ELAs as your bonus by doing this work. So the benefit for the miner is you don't have to spend the money to buy another equipment. You can use your existing mining machine, and you don't have to spend another like additional hash power to mine the ELA specifically. You're just using existing hash power, existing machine, existing program to mine Bitcoin, as well as you get some additional bonus from ELA at doing the work. So this is what we call the merge mining. And also the benefit for the miner of ELA is we don't have to like spend additional resources to mine ELA. So that is a biggest benefit for both the miners and the ELA node, ELA community.
Yeah, it's quite clever actually. Why not just hop on board with the most secure blockchain out there, which is of course the Bitcoin blockchain, and benefit from the resources that are being used over there and provide extra benefits for miners by running the nodes for Elastos.
Yeah.
It's very clever.
And also, because Elasto is a newer chain, so at the beginning, if we have using our own hash power, might be at some point at the beginning, there could be some like a bigger giants they can control the Elastos, because at the beginning we don't have a lot of power, but they have a lot of power. They can just fork into a new chain, and nothing we can do. We try to control, but we cannot. But once we go merge mining with Bitcoin is huge. It's not possible for anybody to control the 51% of hash power of Bitcoin. So we consider it's very safe. We rely on Bitcoin. We don't want to do anything special, just to be sure it's secured.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, we've seen, of course, just in the past 2 weeks, I think 4 different attacks on proof of work coins. So this is definitely a concern. It has been more theoretical in the past, but now we see all these attacks happening. It seems that the relevant parties have seen the opportunity and are now moving into that attack vector.
Right.
I want to talk a bit about your browser. So tell me about the browser, how that works, and have you encountered any bugs so far in the testing of it? And if so, what have those been, and how have you worked to try and fix those?
Okay, the browser, what I'm talking about the browser is not something you call it browser for Ethereum. Ethereum browser is like something you can go to the website, you can see the blocks, how many blocks, and get into each transaction to see the content. That is not something I'm talking about. I'm talking the browser is a runtime, or some people call it sandbox, which you can run your D app inside. So that is the browser I'm talking about. This is, we call it Elastos. Mm-hmm. In the future, there will be some application you can download from iOS App Store or download from Android Google Play. The application the name will be called Elastos. And that is just a sandbox. It's a runtime. And you can, once you download the application in Elastos, you actually can run the DApps inside it. So the UI could look like the desktop of iOS. You actually can see a lot of icons in the browsers. The first is called a crypto poppy. Second is called kind of some other game or play movie or something. And you click the icon, you actually can open this DI and everything running in the browser. And also you can do like a digital assets transfer payment using this browser. So this is something we call browser. We're still working on it. Based on current schedule, we likely to release the first preview version. I don't even call it a beta because it's still very early stage. Preview version likely in late August this year, likely. So we're going to take a look at how it looks like, and we're open to some early stage developer to try make some DApp on it. Last week, we in Elastos, the third global developer meeting, online meeting, I gave everybody a quick preview, a peek of how the browser look like. If anyone who is interested can go to our YouTube channel, you can watch the recorded meeting. You can see how it demoed. And also, I have a peek of how you can develop the DApp inside of Elastos. A few code, I did some demo over there. So if you're interested, you can go there to take a look. And it's still early stage.
Very cool. Very cool. Of course, we're really excited to see how that development continues to move out. Now, there's a big focus with Elastos on mobile, and of course, the operating system is going to be coming out on mobile. Why the big focus on mobile and not necessarily straight away on desktop?
We will. Like say, we do things like a step by step. We focus on mobile first because most of the people right now using mobile. The more mobile users than the PC users right now, and there's people like using mobile every day, every minute. Most of people like every hours, but not everybody using PC or Mac all the time. So we focus on the mobile first. But at the meantime, since it's a browser, once we make the mobile version, it's very easy for us to build the Windows version or Mac version, the Linux version. It's very easy. But we put that into our second step. And very likely we open to the community. Probably we don't build it. We open source, and the community developer, they can make their own version on their own operating system. Very likely we're going to do that. And this is how the philosophy of Elastos. We are not a company. Let's say we are not a company. We are a organization or community. I put it this way. We build something, we open source it, and we invite the developer from the community to build something on top of what we have. They actually can build their own browser, build their own app, their own modules. They can do whatever they want, and eventually we can make a very big and very active community. So everybody make something on top of it, and we can become the biggest ecosystem. That's what we are working on.
Nice. We haven't talked yet about the ID aspects and the tokenization aspects. There's a lot of the focus of Elastos is actually on bringing in these real world or digital assets and tokenizing them, and also, of course, creating trusted IDs for things like websites and profiles and all these different things. Can you expand on those ideas a little bit for us?
Oh, yeah. Actually, two things I'm going to talk about. One thing is we call the DID, as a decentralized ID system. The second thing is the corporate protection or digital assets. Let's talk about the DID first. DID is actually a set chain of Elastos. That will be the first set chain running parallel with ELA main chain. The DID is just you can consider similar to the DNS server. So you have your IP address, which is it's hard to remember, and you register into some domain name service like a GoDaddy. You register like Kevin.John, which is my name. And you use my IP to point to uses this domain name to point to my IP address. Similar in the blockchain world, everybody can create your own public key. It's just a kind of algorithm. Everybody can create thousands of the public key, but nobody can remember that. It's just a string, which is a weird string. Nobody can remember it. So people prefer to have a domain name to point to your ID. So this is why we have a DID. So everybody can register your ID, your name, and point to a existing ID, and so people can remember it. So this will be a small charge, just like the DNS. You need to register the DNS. But if you use a popular name, and because this is some kind of limited resources, like the name is occupied by you, but nobody else can take it unless you sell the name to other people. So this is considered to be a digital asset. The digital asset is not only the domain name. Everything we consider to be a digital asset, like a movie, a game, a art, or a music. Everything, as long as it can be digitalized, you can consider it a digital asset. Because the ID chain is protected by the blockchain technology. So we actually store the ownership in the chain. If you own something, everybody can go to the chain, can verify if you use a public key or the name, actually own another digital asset. The digital asset also have a public ID and the name on it. So if you own it, everybody can verify. Then you can claim you own it, and you can sell it in some market. And other people pay you to get the asset, then you can have a smart contract to transfer the ownership. Then other people will know, oh, this digital assets belonging to a new owners. So this is how the DID and the digital assets work. And there will be a typical question when I'm talking about this. A lot of people will ask, how do you protect the copyright, especially for the digital assets? Let's say a movie. Right now the movie industry is controlled by a huge publish network. A lot of movie producers really want to have a new way to distribute the movie to directly to the end user, get payment from the end user. How they can do that? How we can help them do that? So it's kind of easier for us. The few things I need to explain here. The first thing is we allow the user to play the movie inside the sandbox, the RT or browser. The browser itself is protected by the blockchain. So when you pay to watch a movie, you get a executable code. It's application. For example, a movie called ABC, you actually pay to get a app. The app called ABC is not data, not only data. There is data in it, but it will look like a application. There is some executable code in it. When the executable code starts to run, it will automatically check the hash of the application, the hash of the browser, the hash of the owner. Then it will send a message into the blockchain. The producer of the movie will check the hash, verify the signature, and also go to the blockchain to make sure you actually own, you did pay for the movie, and your media player as application is not altered. It was originally made by the producer. Mm-hmm. If everything is verified in the blockchain, and the producer can give you the key to unlock the application, and the application will become a media player. You can play the video, play the movie. So it's how it works. So in this case, because the application doesn't give you a opportunity or didn't give you the function to save the movie as a decrypted file like MP4, it do not allow you to do that. So there's no way for a user to download the movie to your hard drive and sell it, or just put to YouTube. You cannot do it. And some hacker, for example, some hacker trying to hack into it, will alter the application to add the feature to save as a movie. If they do that, next time when they start, the application will check the hash and send the hash to the blockchain to the producer. Because everything you change the binary, the hash will be different, different than the one you store in the blockchain. So the producer will verify the hash. They can say, oh, you modified the media player. You're trying to do something bad. I'm not going to give you the key. If you don't have the key, the application will not start. Cannot watch the movie, so you cannot save anything else. So that is how it works.
So essentially, you're solving two of the biggest problems of the movie industry. One, removing the publishers who take giant amounts of the money, and two, helping to cut down on piracy.
Right, and also we cut down the piracy, but also we can help people to resell it. This is something new. For example, before we use internet, we buy a DVD, a movie. I pay like $20 to buy a video. That movie I watched at my home. I actually own the DVD disc. I actually, if I want, I can sell it in the market to sell some people who also want to watch the movie, but they didn't buy it from the original store. But right now in the cloud, we have cloud right now. A lot of like a Netflix is doing like subscription model. So I pay I don't know how much money, like $19 a month. I can watch movie, but I didn't own anything. If I watch it, that's it, and I don't own the movie. I cannot sell it to other people because I don't own it. What I pay is just a subscription. This is a typical model in the cloud, internet world. But what we try to disrupt this way is we give the ownership of the buyer. Let's say if you use Elastos to buy a movie, you pay like $2 to buy a movie. You own this copy of the movie. It can be verified in the blockchain. But after I watch the movie, I don't think I need to keep under my name. I actually can sell it to other people who haven't watched the movie and they like to pay maybe like $1 to buy the same movie, and I can get my $1 back. So I could become a distributor instead of the traditional like Netflix. I can sell it. And if we do this way, we actually give the opportunity for the producer, of the movie producer, to release something we call the limited edition of the copies of the movie. That means I have a movie, I only sell 1,000 copies with the limited edition. Every copy has a serial number and ID, the ID check. And every people, if you want to buy it, you either go to the original store to buy one of the 1,000 copy, or if all of them sold out, sorry, you cannot buy it anymore because I don't have it. I only have 1,000, so all sold out. Then you have to go to the second market to buy from the first owner. And if the movie is popular, and the first buyer will likely to give a higher price for the copy of the movie if more people want to buy it. So the viewer can make money from it, not only consumer, but investor.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a total new economy. It's very different than the subscription model. And I believe
just turning everything on its head. It's crazy.
Very new, very new. This is very different than the typical economy. So Elasto is the only company, the only blockchain doing this way.
It's so interesting. Introduce all these new economic models and economic incentives and ways to, I guess, re-empower people when it comes down to it. I think that's really cool and will be a powerful feature of Elastos moving forward. Now, you guys have a lot of exciting partnerships here too, and some of those actually kind of filter into what we were just talking about. You know, we have Fresco and ARM, and we have BitGame and Hashworld and Weatherblock and Bitmain and Neo, and on goes the list. I want to just focus on two of those, though.
Okay, I'll pick Fresco and Weatherblock.
Great.
The two of them, because it's two very different projects. The Fresco is the art for the collection of the art. That is a typical use of DID. You know, a lot of people, they pay money to buy the art, like buy a paint. I know some people like art. They actually know the art. Sorry, I am not the kind of person. I don't know too much about art. But there are some people like maybe like me. I don't know, but I really know the value of the art, the paint. I know the value because the painter has died 200 years ago. He can no longer paint the new paints. But I actually can pay to buy the art, and I know the price will go up. Before we have blockchain, it's pretty hard for I to convince other people that the copy, not the copy, the art I own is the original. Right? It could be some people like they paint a similar thing. Like I'm not an expert. I don't know which one is real, which one is fake. I don't know. But a lot of people, they don't know either. But if we use blockchain to claim the ownership, like they know I actually own this art because I can verify it from the blockchain. When I sell it to other people, he doesn't have to hire an expert to verify this is real or not. He just go to blockchain, they can know, oh, there is a guy called Gavin. He actually, in the blockchain, I own I have the ownership of the art. And I can use my private key to verify, to make a signature to claim I own it. And I can sell it to some other people and to do the smart contract transfer to a new owner. In that case, he doesn't need to worry about that. He knows what he owns will be real. And in this case, we don't really need to go to some like auction. We just do everything transaction on the browser, and they don't even need to own the art. The art is still safe some secure place, like in some bank vault. It could be there, but we don't really need to modify it. We just do a transaction over the internet, over the blockchain, and the owner will own the new. The new owner will own the art. So this is a very typical usage of the blockchain ownership and the DID.
It's a great use case. It helps again eliminate fraud and eliminate the bad things that are happening in the global art market.
Right, exactly. And this is very easy. You know, we don't have to hire some police officer security to take the art from the basement of one house to another one. We don't need to do that. You know, we just do everything on the digital way. Another example is WeatherBlock, which is also very interesting. So WeatherBlock is a company. It's not very famous. A lot of people don't know because it's a new project. It actually they make the before they have a WeatherBlock, they make the weather station, a personal weather station. It's something I have one in my backyard. I can show you right now. It's a small device I can put in my backyard, and they have a camera to take the picture of the sky. Also, they can test the temperature, the rain gauge, and the wind direction. They can send the data currently sent to the cloud. So because a lot of people, they install this kind of small weather station in their backyard. So we gather the data together, then the people can easily say what is the real-time weather in anywhere in the world. So currently there are over 100 countries have users to install this kind of device all over the world. If you go to the website, you actually can see, go to any place to see the weather right now. And because we have a lot of people, a lot of places that have this weather station, it's very easy to forecast the weather in a very, very detailed time. Like not the existing weather broadcast is not very accurate, especially if you live in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. Temperature is changed so dramatically, just by distance is very different. But if you're using this kind of service, you can easily get the very accurate weather forecast. This is the old business model. It's not very successful. The reason is there is no incentive for the user to install this kind of device because it didn't get a payback. I'm just enthusiastic. I just install it. I like it. But what if I know nothing about the weather forecast? I want to make money. Can you help me to make money by installing this kind of device? So WeatherBlock is something, is a solution for this. We gave the user who install the weather station in your land an incentive of the token. And the data, you own the data actually. It's not that the company doesn't own, you own your data. Then the data will be saved in the blockchain and put in some data market. And you still own your private key. And other people, especially some like either government or some do like the future trading or agriculture department, they need the weather data. And they can trust the blockchain because everything stored in the blockchain is immutable. So they can pay to buy the data. And I, as an owner, I own the data, so I can get incentive from the people to buy it, and they can sell my data. Since this device is solar powered, I just put it on my backyard, and I can get money every.
It just sits there and makes money for you all day long.
Exactly, just a mining machine, just like a mining machine. I put in my backyard. And
it's weather mining. I love it.
Exactly, weather mining. Yeah, that's the concept of weather mining. It's pretty interesting, and because blockchain can identify the ownership, and also it can prove the data is correct, and nobody can alter, nobody can modify it. So that is trustable for the data buyer. You don't have to worry about, is anybody try to make money by put some fake data into the system. So you don't need to worry about that because the blockchain can make it secure. So it's another pretty interesting project. We actually have a lot, but I don't have time to.
I think that's a good representation of how the Elastos blockchain, and I guess blockchain technology overall, is working to really just turn these economic models on their head. Because like you said previously, there was no incentive for someone to actually do that in their backyard, unless they're just a weather enthusiast. But now, whether enthusiast or not, there's actually an economic incentive to do that. Right. So if you're the enthusiast, you still win. If you're not such a big weather enthusiast, well, you can just make some money off putting it in your backyard. Exactly. Now, I think one of the biggest pain points right now for a lot of people in the Elastos community, or people who want to become part of the Elastos community, is that Elastos is only currently listed on Huobi and one other smaller exchange.
BC Exchange, smaller one.
BC Exchange, there you go. And so what are you guys doing in the background to try and, I guess, increase liquidity and increase the availability of ELA tokens across the exchange network?
Oh yeah, we already we announced about a month ago. There are 7 exchanges. We already sent some kind of MOU, and they are okay to list the ELA to their exchange. But the reason we're still waiting it's not a corporation issue. It's not an incorporation issue. The only reason still waiting for us is we are not ready. Like the technical not ready. We're still working on the SPV node, which is necessary to connect the exchange to our chain. Based on what I heard from the developer team a few days ago, they already released, but they're still doing the change to do the testing. Likely in about 10 days, maybe less than 10 days, we actually can get those nodes, those exchange to try our new nodes. Then once they test it, make sure they can work. Likely we can have something maybe in 1 month, maybe less, 2 months. I don't know, no guarantee. It's something.
The tech's ready when it's ready, right?
Yeah, it's a technical issue. It's not a policy issue. It's just technical.
Okay, and does that, I guess, apply to hardware wallets as well?
Oh yes. The same technology, like SPV. As long as we support SPV, all the hardware wallets they can connect to it. It's very easy.
Okay, excellent. And I guess the final question here for you today, the roadmap. What can we expect from Elastos for the rest of the year, for example?
Well, we are running very fast, and also everybody is very busy. We actually doing. Maybe I can put into some sports section. The first is development. Currently, we have team in China, in Beijing and Shanghai. They have 2 teams. Beijing team is focus on the chain, and the Shanghai team is focused on the sandbox runtime. So they work very busy. We're going to release something like middle or end of August, first preview release. And another section is what I'm working on, like the global community. We actually very active working on this. We're trying to get more and more people, not only from China, but also for all over the world to jump into these projects. So we have a bounty program. We call it EBP, Elastos Bounty Program. We gave a lot of ELA, which is a total amount is 16 million. That's a huge number. 16 million ELA will be invested into a bounty program and the ecosystem building. So people who can contribute to our ecosystem, not only for developer, but also for tester, like the social influencer, or some people just want to ask a question, even asking questions. They can get some bounty from our EBP program. That means everybody can contribute and to gain some ELA. And if you are a team, you're working on some kind of startup idea, and you are looking for a platform, you can join our bounty program as well. Like you can talk to us, and we can invest to you as an angel investor. So you can, as long as you build your application on top of Elastos, and we can give you a lot of support, not only money, but also the engineers, also the social influence. We can have everything. We need to build the ecosystem to move people to work together. And also, we're going to have some training program in hackathon. I'm working with a few universities across America. We're going to working on some kind of training on how to build DApps on Elastos, including a lot of online training. Mm-hmm. So if you recently been to our website or YouTube channel or Medium account, you actually can see a lot of new improvement. We are, including myself, I record a lot of training videos, and also other community members that make a lot of YouTube video to explain what is Elastos and what the Elastos application look like, and how you can make a Elastos application. We starting working on that right now, and there will be more coming up in a few months. So people can easily get into the project and try to build something yourself. And also we have a lot of marketing events in a few months. Like this month, I'm going to Europe. We're going to have a Europe tour, about 6 or 7 countries. We're going to a tour in Europe, and after that, we may go to Asia to have an Asia tour next month. And also in anywhere, a lot of places in the world, we are looking for the leaders in the local blockchain community to work with us together, so we can help you to give you some resources to build your local Elastos community. We already have about, I didn't count today, could be more than 10 countries, up to 20, maybe 20 countries leader already signed up in our EBP program. And some of them already is helping us to build the meetup in, the first one will be Vietnam, the second will be Hong Kong, and the European country, like a 7 country, we're going to have a tour over there this month and next month. And I know a lot of places, a lot of leaders coming, jumping into the program as well. So we are looking for the leaders. The leaders will be in the future, will be our main source of power to help to build a local community. And later this year, likely August, we are going to have a community board. That means we give the power how to build the Elastos. We give the power from the core team to the community. That means as long as you own ELA, you are our token holder, and also you are an active contributor, you have the power to control what Elastos should look like in the future. You can vote. In this case, we'll turn the Elasto project from a core team owned to a community owned. That means everybody, you have your voice. We can hear you. We not control you. We listen to you. You control everything. We just be a person who work on behalf of you to make the Elasto even better. So that is something we are working on.
And again, turning the model on its head,
aren't
we? That's it. Instead of having the big tech providers where this is what we give you, deal with it. It's like, be part of the community. Decide what it is you want to see. I love it.
Exactly.
Gavin, we've only scratched the surface here. There were a whole bunch of questions that I didn't even get to ask you, but I feel like we've given so much information here in the past 45 minutes or so of our interview that it's absolutely awesome. So I really want to thank you for taking some time out of your day to sit down and talk Elastos with us. So thank you so much, Gavin.
Thank you. And I hope in the future, if you have any questions, we can have another session like this, and another interview or talk, or you can just go to our YouTube channel, or go to our website or Telegram, or go to the EBP program, go to the GitHub. You can join the EBP, and I really hope more people to join our community to give our contribution. We need a lot of person. We only currently have about 40 developers running. You know how big the Elasto should be. We should have about 1,000 developers running, but we don't have so much resources. But we do need help. So just come to our community, give your contribution. We will give you ELA as a reward.
There you go. Be part of the community, get rewarded. I love it.
Yeah.
Awesome, Kevin. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for watching the video. Let me know what you think about Elastos in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a thumbs up. Join the conversation over on Twitter where I share further insights into what is going on in the crypto space. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.